Hey everybody, and welcome to the next episode of Bastog and Bachelor Bullshit Busters. I'm Simon Batchelor,
I'm Adam.
and we are going to be talking today about an exciting new feature which has come to Canva, which is about scheduled social posts. So, to kick us off, Adam, do you want to talk us through quickly what Canva is for anybody out there who's been living under a rock or isn't aware of what Canva is?
Yeah, I imagine most people do know what Canva is by this point because it's very widely advertised and used by kind of marketers everywhere. But it's essentially Photoshop for not idiots, but for normal people that can actually navigate things. So it's got loads of different templates. It's very design led, so it kind of doesn't let you necessarily. Well, it does let you, but the templates are designed nicely so that you can kind of go in there and just replace the text, and it will still work fairly effectively. It's used a lot for mocking up kind of either advertising images, I've used it to make infographics. I've used it just to kind of quickly throw together some stuff when I've not had Photoshop to hand because I just need to like manipulate an image slightly. It's used for Facebook ads, Facebook social posts, like image banners, basically anything you can think of you can use it for. It's really simple to use, really easy. I love it.
I think one of the
great.
things that drew me to it is it's got all of the sizes already in there. So you can say,
Yes.
I want to make a Facebook post, and it's already the right size for a Facebook post. Weirdly, it doesn't have MailChimp in there, which is odd.
Yeah, that's
it's a bit of an omission. So you can't say, I want to make
Odd.
a MailChimp image. So when you then put it into MailChimp, MailChimp's like, oh, that's the wrong size, let's help. You've still got to resize it. Anyway, off topic. Canva, essentially, I think you've summarised it really neatly there, but essentially, if you're looking for a kind of look and feel for your social posts, Canva is the shortcut you've been looking for because they've got hundreds of templates in there, and you basically just go, that looks like my brand. You change your brand colours in, put your text in, and it just spits out Instagram posts, Instagram stories. And the thing is, so let's say you make an Instagram post, and you maybe make 2 or 3 slides, maybe if you're doing a text one, you can then just do resize and then do stories, and it makes it story size, and then you can just output that.
Yeah.
So it's doing all of the stuff that used to take designers hours, and you can do it in minutes. Now, I'm not saying it's a replacement for a graphic designer because obviously it still doesn't have, unless you are a graphic designer, you don't have the eye for it, the fonts, the spacing, and some tools to help you. Like you can still make Canva look real shit. Like if you try, obviously you can, but you can also, it's super easy to make it look really cool. I've made infographics on it. The downloadable guide on our website, for example, that's a Canva template, but I've restyled it. I find them really good as like a jumping off point. So you just like load in the template, and then I'm like, I like that page, that page, that page. And then I basically rip out the bits I don't like, but it's nice to have somewhere to start.
Is it free or is it?
Canva is free, but it also has a pro version. So that resizing function I mentioned, that is paid. However, it's $10.99. I think it's 10 quid a month plus VAT. So it's like 11, 12 quid.
Yeah.
But you also get access to Shutterstock, essentially.
Okay.
So when you start searching for an image, you get, I think it's Shutterstock or iStock Photo. They're both the same company anyway,
just some kind of library. So
it's huge, but you get videos in there now. You get you get stock videos. You even get music in there now, fully licensed music. So originally what was happening on Canva, let's say you make that Facebook post, let's say it's a video with some text and a bit of music, you could click post to Facebook, and then you could link it to your Facebook account using the API, the button, and then it would just post straight to Facebook for you, and you get to write the text above it, and then you hit go, and it posts. Brilliant. So now what Canva have done is they've realised that what people really want to be able to do is post that tomorrow at 3 p.m, post that next week at 9 p.m. So what they've done is they've simply added a calendar to their existing functionality so that now you can choose when you post your content. So the one big exception that they have missed out, or maybe are still working on, is you can't post to Instagram. Now, putting my nerdy developer hat on, I know that this is because the Instagram API from a developer's perspective is an utter nightmare. It takes a full-time team of people to keep poking with Instagram because they make changes and tell no one about it. So then it breaks and you've got to scramble around to fix it. They are a total nightmare. Probably the worst development team on the internet because they don't do any form of like, this is changing in a week. It's just like, we've broken it. It's just, Instagram is essentially a team of monkeys that run around your machine and throw spanners in it while you're trying to get on with something else. That's how I describe it.
Good analogy.
You compare that to someone like Stripe that have an amazingly well documented thing, and it's all written out and it's easy to plan and work around. Anyway, developer rant over. So, yes, this is why is this interesting? Why is this interesting? Well, because if you are using something like Buffer or Hootsuite or Sprout Social, is that a tool?
That's the one. Yeah, I
That's
think
a tool.
so.
Agora Pulse, that's also another one.
I think Buffer's the
These
main one that
are
I've used.
whole software packages around posting, scheduling posts. So Canva, including this in their 10 quid membership, it doesn't cost any extra, is starting to sneak into that territory. So do you use any of those other tools at the moment, or any of your clients use those tools?
Well, I used to use Buffer quite a bit, but it would basically I would be exporting from Canva and then scheduling it in Buffer to then kind of go out on Facebook in a couple of days' time. So it just seems like such a no-brainer really to have that functionality built straight into Canva as like an upsell and a sales pitch thing where you can just hit one button and it's done. I imagine there's a lot of social media managers out there who are just ecstatic at the fact they can do this because it's cut about an hour out of their day every day, you know. And I think
you can post to
really
LinkedIn
useful.
as well. That's the other one we haven't mentioned, and you
I was
can
gonna ask
post
you
to a
about that,
profile and a company page separately.
That's good.
So that's really because you could post to both at the same time, basically.
That's going to be handy for my LinkedIn profile in the future as I try and so I want to try and like organise my LinkedIn posts to be slightly more scheduled and slightly more proactive rather than reactive. So I think having that in Canva as well just makes it a one-stop shop in a very positive way to kind of go in there and just go, right, I've got to make this pretty picture of me next to a lake with some sounds in the background look good and post to LinkedIn. And if I can do that all in one go, why wouldn't I not use that for 10 quid a month?
Well, if you compare that to Buffer, which the same functionality in Buffer is also $10 a month.
Yeah.
So I think you get 5 accounts you get 3 accounts for free, I think, in Buffer, 3 or 5. So very quickly.
I think it's quite limited, I think, yeah.
Yeah, but you get Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Tumblr, Slack, Pinterest, all included in Canva. So immediately you're getting $20 of Buffer value in Canva for $10 or £10, whatever. So that's quite an interesting one. And I think scheduling social is becoming more and more common, especially for that kind of thought leadership posting or the sort of educational content stuff. And to be honest, all of the content that I personally engage with has all been either made in either Keynote. A lot of people I know are doing those Instagram things in Keynote.
Yeah.
But actually, do you know what? A load of it's happening in Canva. And as soon as you go into Canva and look around, you're like, oh, there's that person's template. There's that person's template. You start to spot them a mile off. But I guess to the average person who isn't a designer, who doesn't do any of this posting themselves, they never know. And for a lot of brands, some of the illustration styles I've seen coming out of some very big brands are looking very Canva-ish. And that's either because they've hired the same designer as the designer who made them for Canva, perhaps, or maybe they are Canva. I don't know, but yeah.
I think that's the interesting thing is that Canva does have such high regard with designers as well. I imagine where it does a job very well. Where rather than them having to kind of go into Photoshop and do something quite basic that's going to take them more time, clients can kind of do that while the designer focuses on the more big stuff like the brand identity or the doing like infographics. I think you might that's when you do start wanting to perhaps have slightly more kind of control over the design, but for that kind of day-to-day churn of just social media posts, a designer probably doesn't want to sit there and have to produce that quite mindless content. So,
well, I suppose also a designer can make you a template in Canva,
exactly,
and then just hand you over the template, and then you just populate that with your daily post, your weekly post, whatever that might be. But also you can then, if you're on the paid version, you can upload your fonts and your brand colours, and then it makes it super quick to swap out from their sort of off-the-shelf templates. You can load them in and your colours are just automatically at the top. You can just change them all to be your brand colours and your brand fonts really quick. Yeah. So,
I feel like this has turned into an advert for Canva, which was not the intention. However, it is very good. We're not sponsored.
No. We really should have sorted out an affiliate link, really, shouldn't we? But
we should have, or some kind of like sponsorship deal. But
I
don't
think
Canva
really
need
the
it,
other
really.
thing that I find interesting is that they've obviously seen the gap in the market, and as you say, like currently that's what I do. I currently download from Canva and I upload it to Agorapulse, and that's because Agorapulse does post to Instagram, and it also gives me a whole load of stats. So it brings in all of my stats from LinkedIn, from Facebook, and from Twitter, and Instagram. So it pulls it all together and compiles it in one report. So I've got my total reach, I've got my impact, so I can see my engagement across all channels. I can see how many, you get all of that reporting built in. So they're adding a layer of value that obviously Canva isn't doing. But if you are just starting out, then Canva is brilliant because it will get you started and it will get your first post going. Eventually, they will tackle the Instagram API, I'm sure. But I feel for the development team who are having to do that because it's an uphill struggle, so good luck. But as soon as they do it, it's going to be a real game changer for people on the lower tier of like Buffer and Hootsuite. They're going to have to come up with some other stuff pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't really see what value you would have from... What's Buffer going to do?
Well, Buffer, you have to pay $99 a month to get reporting.
Yeah.
So very quickly, that lower tier just becomes completely redundant because you can just do that in Canva. But Canva doesn't do any reporting; it doesn't pull back any stats. So, for example, I'm not considering moving because I like the report I get in Agorapulse because it enables me to see what's working and what's not. So for me, I find that running a whole marketing campaign, I find the reporting useful. However, there are other tools out there that do the reporting, and if you're not so much into the stats side of it, and if you're not measuring it so much, then maybe you don't need that. Maybe you can just push it out there and you just measure sign-ups, for example. But for me, it's all about messaging, and it's all about where those messages and those posts resonate, what gets reactions, what gets clicks, and I like to see what works and what doesn't, so I can do more of what does and less of what doesn't. But if you've already got that all planned out and you're just going to go hell for leather and I'm posting it and you're seeing it and that's your strategy, then Canva's probably for you.
Yeah. I think it's a no-brainer for any kind of small business that's time poor, really, to pay like 15 quid a month or however much it is, just to have that all combined in one, really. So I'd definitely go and check it out.
If you're doing a lot on LinkedIn and that's your main social channel, I'd say it's an absolute no-brainer because you can make content that's going to really stand out on LinkedIn and you can post it straight in there and schedule it. So I'd say it's really, really good tool if you're heavy on the LinkedIn market.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Canva straight away to
sign up now.
Yeah. Spam my LinkedIn feed.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely worth giving it a go. If you are just starting out with social and you want some help, then do reach out. We can point you in the direction of some good resources. In the Marketing Success Club, we have got a course, actually, if you want a shameless plug here. We do have a course on how to get marketing working for your business, which talks you all through messaging, how to post, where to post it, what sort of thing you should be talking about. So if you want to try that, you can for free in the club, so do sign up. I think ultimately it's a great tool. There are obviously others out there. If you're using something else that you think is way better than Canva, then we'd love to hear about it, because I've not met anything yet online that can do everything it does. There are other tools that do bits of what it does a bit better, maybe, but as an overall tool, I'm still yet to see anything that does it quite the same. So
it's still bulletproof, I think. It's still very good.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. If you have got any other tools, do let us know. We'd love to hear about them because there's definitely a lot out there, and it'd be interesting to see what your experiences are. But also, if you're already using Canva to post and you've got any good or bad feedback on it, we'd also like to hear that because that'd be very interesting. So do reach out to us on LinkedIn. We'll pop a link below so you can check that out. And yeah, we are also putting these YouTube podcasts out on Spotify and iTunes and Google Podcasts and all good podcast outlets. So if you're already listening to us on the podcast, then did you know you can see our amazing smiley faces on YouTube as well, if you'd like to. Our channel obviously is Busting and Bachelor Bullshit Busters on all good platforms. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. And we look forward to busting more bullshit next time.
Yes.
So until then, we'll see you later.
Bye.
See ya, bye.